We are back, man. We are back at it, man. What is up, my guy? What is up? It's been what, almost a year since we haven't done this podcast?
It's been a year, man, and I know you have a lot going on. Shout out to you and prayers up to you, man, and your fam for everything that has been going on. I'm excited to be back with you. I think well, I shouldn't say I think, I know we had magnificent chemistry before. So let's get this, man. It's good to be back working with you, bro.
It's definitely great to be back, man. But the commitment to excellent podcast is officially back, and I don't think we going anywhere, y'all. And I am Darion of the Nothing But Raiders podcast. And we got my guy Willie here from Shakedown Media Group. It is awesome to be doing this podcast again, man. It's
Yeah.
definitely awesome. So, I mean, I got everything queued up, but let's catch up on a few things, man. What's been up with Willie and the ShakeBack Media Group? What's been going on real quickly?
Yo, man, I'm just trying to make a mark in this game, man. As a matter of fact, I got something for you. Since we are back, I got something for you. You ready?
Yeah, come on, hit it with me, man. Got it.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
Only
Yes.
can hear it a little bit though. I can hear it a little bit. I heard the first part say "I'm back."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta figure that out, man. Some sort of latency going on, but that was basically from the second Independence Day, or no, the first one when the dude that had gotten kidnapped by aliens went back up there and he ended up getting his ship blown up. But yeah, man, we're just trying to grow this thing, man. We've added some members to our team. Actually just got done doing the second season, or the debut for the second season of a show Enough Divided. That's with myself and Tisha C and Brian R. We are she's a Chiefs fan, I'm a Raider fan, of course, and he's actually a Jaguar fan.
Oh, it felt good to be a Raider fan last night. It felt great.
Oh yeah, I let her have it for real. Let her have it, man. Yeah, it was relentless.
Oh man, I knew you was the trash talking was there. I knew it was.
Well, I could tell you like this, man, because when you look at it from the bigger landscape, I mean, what can we really say to any Chiefs fan? It was just in the moment, and I had to just kind of do it like on a sly a little bit, because they still have that dude at quarterback, they still have that dude at head coach.
Right.
Chris Jones better get his butt back in there. And that offensive line looked really, really, really porous last night against Aiden Hutchinson and those boys. Not that that bothers me, but I'm just saying.
I mean, we do play Detroit, so it was good to get a good look at Detroit because we do play them this year as well. So that was definitely something to look at from both. We know we play the Chiefs twice, but hopefully, Chris Jones don't be back by the time we play them. So unfortunately, but shout out to everybody that's in the chat, from Matthew Lincoln, Owls Ghost, D Menace, Raider Kojo, Clifford the Black Raider. Shout out to all y'all in the chat that's on all social media platforms. ShakeBack Media Group is live on their personal channels as well, and I have the link pinned in the comments. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my guy ShakeBack Media Group. He's trying to get to his 500 subscriber, so we trying to get that going, man. Shout out to Protect the Show podcast, my co-host for Nothing But Raiders podcast, Anthony Price. Why they blaming Patrick? Tony messed it up. We talk about Raiders today. We gonna talk about Raiders today.
Yeah.
But just a quick question. I know that Matthew Lincoln put this up, saying that can we get Chris Jones? And I'm gonna just answer this quickly. No, because you see why they had to reconstruct Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. We was 6.9 million in the negative, and we freed up 17 million in cap space because of Jimmy Garoppolo's reconstruction. Mm-hmm. We don't have money for Chris Jones. Simple as that.
Yeah, and Chris Jones knows that. I'm telling you this right here, and we just talked about this on the show Divided. You guys need to go out there and sub to the channel so y'all can check that out. It's there. We talked about this. Nick Bosa just got the bag from the 49ers, and you know Chris Jones is looking at the Chiefs like, yo, I know Nick Bosa is a baller. I know he can play, but I think that I am a little bit more valuable to my team than he is to his team because of the pressure that he can generate from the inside and then free up other people on the outside. It's like he's two players in one. So he's looking at them like, yo, I need my money. Run me my money right now.
Facts. Anthony Price said, will Chandler Jones be there week 1? It's official that he will not be there week 1. So it's going to be rotation between Malcolm Kuntz and our 7th overall pick, Tyree Wilson. So it's going to be very interesting to see that side. So no, with all that commotion going on with Chandler Jones, he won't be there. But let's get to it, because I have the topics from the inbox, but I only put the titles of it. So just offense or offensive. You want to explain this to me, because you have a lot under this offense or offensive.
Yeah, man. I mean, basically, we know we have Devontae Adams. We know we have Hooper, who we got in free agency. We know we got Mayer from Notre Dame in the draft. We have Hunter Renfrow, of course, and we know about Josh Jacobs and all of that. The cog, of course, is going to be the quarterback. Is he going to miss more games than he plays? That's the question. So even though, Jimmy Garoppolo is a Josh McDaniels guy, he was Josh McDaniels guy like 100 years ago, like 3 major surgeries ago. So we know that for me, and I'm going to ask you, and I want everybody in the chat to participate in this as well. I'm going to ask a question to Darion, and then and everybody else can check it out. We know Josh Jacobs held out for all of that time, right? We know he didn't really get a bag. He got like a sack, if you will. Are we concerned? How concerned are we about him rounding into form after missing all that time in training camp, OTAs, the whole bit, with those nagging soft tissue injuries that we know will come when a running back does this?
Well, the one thing you have to do for Jimmy Garoppolo is run the football. That's what you do. You try to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible. Quick throws. You don't want to have him doing 7 drop backs and all of that nature. He did play in the preseason against the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. He did play 1 series in there, so we really couldn't see much for him in preseason. Now, if he can stay upright and his offensive line can protect him, he plays the whole season. I don't want him scrambling for nothing. If you need to scramble, go ahead. But I don't want it to where you just gonna just run because you want to. No, you run because you need to. So for me, I need Jimmy Garoppolo to stay healthy all season. If not, the season is done. I'm sorry to say it. I like Aiden O'Connell, but he's not even the number 2 quarterback on the depth chart, unfortunately.
Yeah, and he's not there yet, but ultimately he could be that dude. I think he's got everything it takes to be that dude with the right development. And we know that Josh McDaniels, if he can't do nothing else, he can develop some quarterbacks, or he can coach the quarterbacks. Right. I mean, he did have some dude by the name of Tom Brady, who ironically is now a owner of the Raiders. I mean, really?
Yeah, a percentage owner of the Raiders.
Percentage owner, but still he's got his hands in the pie out there. And here's the thing too about Jimmy. How confident are we in terms of him being able to stay healthy with Derek Carr being in the NO? And I think I'm just gonna say this: Derek Carr is still my dude. He is my quarterback.
Man, see, you about to get the comments crazy right now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but we're not gonna do that today. What we're going to say is, I think Derek Carr is going to have a monster year in New Orleans. But anyway, back to Jimmy G, the confidence meter. I agree with you. And a lot of this is going to hinge on the running back room and, of course, the O-line. Some people believe, and I'm one of them, that we have a top 10, 11 offensive line in the NFL.
We do to a certain extent.
Yeah, and that extent is what we are going to need to really focus on in being able to gel and be able to reach the maximum potential that is necessary in order for Jimmy G to be successful and for, of course, Josh Jacobs to be successful and everything that's around him. No, I'm not a Saints fan, Randy, but thank you.
He's not a Saints fan, but he's saying that he just wished the best for Derek Carr. I think that's the best way you could put it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wish the best for him too, even though that he has the weakest division in football in the NFC North, and he has the kind of like the weakest schedule. The Saints have the number one weakest schedule in the NFL. So I mean, we have a right to say that, you know, just from if you look at the schedule and you look at the division, he might just have a monster year. But just like John Rader said, healthy Jimmy G, we go to the playoffs. If an injured Jimmy G comes in, Aiden O'Connell, here he comes. But how can Aiden O'Connell, here he comes, when Brian Hoyer is QB2 on the depth chart?
That might be just for show. I mean,
Brian Hoyer played for all 32 teams. I'm sorry. This is the 32nd team he played for.
Yeah, that's probably that's about accurate. And I mean, we know what Brian Hoyer is, but more importantly, we know what he's not. He's there basically to coach up Jimmy G. He's there basically to coach up Aiden. And how far he can throw the ball down the field remains to be seen. A lot of this is going to hinge on the running game. And we saw it last year. I mean, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, none of us. And if you say you did, I will call you a liar to your face. We did not see that coming.
We knew that Josh Jacobs was the top 5 or top 6 running back in the league, but to lead the league in rushing, I was not expecting that.
Exactly. And I'm getting tangled up here. And that's okay to say, because Josh Jacobs and his durability, basically because of his very little usage at Alabama, really came to a head last year. Now, this is the question, and it's part of the topics, guys.
How long? This one right here.
Yeah. Run, JJ, run. Run, JJ, run. How long will it take for him to knock the rust off and get him back in the form? How long? How many games are we thinking?
I don't think he missed a step. I think the whole time that he was in training camp, outside of training camp, he's physically fit. I think he's physically fit, and I think that they still going to have him run the ball majority of the time, especially in this Broncos game. Mm-hmm. But you definitely going to see a lot of carries from Zeus. And this is my thing with Zeus. A lot of people have an issue with Zeus, and I don't. People fail to realize, especially this Raider Nation, they fail to realize that Zeus was a running back by committee at Georgia.
Right.
He wasn't a number 1 running back. And that's what, and even if Josh Jacobs was not here in week 1, they would not. You can't really rely on Zeus because he was never a starter at Georgia. You had James Cook, and you had the other guy. I forgot his other name. It was a 3-headed monster at Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So Zamir White, Amir Abdullah, and Josh Jacobs is going to split some carries. That's just me, And I think his durability might be a concern for me because he did miss training camp. But I know darn well, and I've seen videos on his Twitter, we see videos on his Instagram in the weight room working out. So that guy, he's going to get the carries, but I think it's going to be running back by committee in week 1 just to start him out.
Yeah, and also here's the thing too about that, because we've seen even though Josh did start, his final season in Alabama, the toll that he didn't have to take is really reminiscent of what we're talking about here. I think that if they can make sure that not necessarily splitting equally because we know Amir is more of a third down back and he's a special teams guy. Right. But really with Josh, in terms of the amount of touches and carries or whatnot, if we can keep it at 65, 70, 30 in that range until he's actually able to get back to midseason form, before we actually even get to midseason, I think that's going to bode well for the Raiders on offense.
I think it will. And once our offensive line, and I see that we have the same offensive line going in from last year, that continuity is there. So Josh Jacobs, I think he's understanding the offense, and you see that grow over last year going into those last couple of games that we won with him running over 100 yards in those games. So yeah, I definitely agree there. But you got this one here. I like this question. I think I put it in the banners if I'm not mistaken.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Is it the year we see Hunter Renfrow morph to what we saw when he got the bag? That I love this question right here. I love it.
He better. He better. And I'm not saying he got to have 100 catches.
Right.
But remember last year against the Cardinals when this cat fumbled the ball twice on the same drive? Yeah. And then he wasn't able to stay healthy. We need him to be the X factor that he is. Again, he ain't got to get the 101 catches. I don't even think the Raiders are going to throw it that much, to be honest with you. I see the Raiders doing a lot of things that Josh McDaniels did in New England, but we'll get to that at another point. He better because he was already on the trading block.
Right.
That's why I put that question out there, and I really want to hear from the Raider Nation about Hunter, because I like Hunter Renfrow as a player. I think he is nearly unguardable when he is healthy. When you get this dude in that slot and he runs those wiggle routes and those crazy routes. I mean, I saw him put a move on Darion James, man, last year. My ankles are still sore. Just saying.
I agree. I feel like when it comes to Hunter Renfrow, yes, he kind of had a down year last year. Since he had a down year since he got the bag. I get it. But now you have Devontae Adams, you have a Jacoby Myers, you have so many receivers. But I think Hunter Renfrow is going to be that X factor for us in the passing game. And I feel like, yes, I feel like putting back at his slot position where you let him run those Y options, let him run them option routes where he's considered one of the best slot route runners in the league. You got to let him use his footwork and use his route running to get away from those slot corners. I mean, if you let him do what he did when he got the bag, and I hope Josh McDaniels look at the film when Hunter Renfrow was at his best when it came out the slot, or you line him up anywhere on the football field. You can line Hunter Renfrow back in the backfield and give him an angle route, and he would get it done for you. So if Josh McDaniels get there and be smart about it, let Hunter Renfrow cook, man. I know Devontae's going to get his numbers. I get it. Jacoby Myers might excel. I'm not really too high on Jacoby Myers. I'm really not, but I'm dealing with it. But I think Hunter Renfrow could be that guy that we missed, and that's third in Renfrow.
Exactly. And with the quarterback in Jimmy G, who, in my very humble opinion, is on the same level, if not a slight under Derek Carr, that option is definitely going to be needed. Think about what was in New England. Think about what was in San Francisco. And I think for me, I don't have any trust whatsoever in Josh McDaniels. I definitely don't have any trust in the defensive coordinator. But that's the narcotic that is this Oakland / Las Vegas / Los Angeles / Las Vegas / Oakland Raiders, is that they do this to us every year, because you look at the team on paper and you look at the fact that we had the number one leading rusher in the league last year. You look at the fact that we have a top 4 or 5 at minimum route runner in terms of a slot receiver in Renfrow. And then you got one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in the entire league with Devontae. And then you bring in Hooper and you get this kid out of Notre Dame. You look at these names and you see this on paper and you're like, yo, we might be able to get something with this. But then it's the mystique, or the lack thereof of the mystique, that really bogs us down in terms of, do we really want to commit? Well, we want to commit. We want to be excellent. Commitment to excellence. That's what it is.
So in my situation, I get it. It's commitment to excellence. That's one of our auras. That's one of our mystiques when it comes to the Raiders. But I coming in with no expectations.
Yeah.
That's the best way as a Raider fan. If you don't want to get more gray hair on your head, do not come in with expectations. If they win and we win 10 games or 11 games, I am excited. If we go back to being what we were last year, I'm going to be mad. So, but I'm not going to be too mad like I was last year. I thought last year could have been our year to go back to the playoffs, but it didn't happen that way. It's not this, and I'm giving Josh McDaniels a chance because we all know what happened in Denver. He didn't take the coach job, and now we finally see 1 year under him. And I feel like we need stability at coaching.
Mm-hmm.
We need stability, and that's why a lot of fans don't understand Derek Carr and what he went through the 9 years. He had 6 coaches in 9 years. That's not stability. If I'm not a big fan of Josh McDaniels either, but if we keep him and see if he can progress and make our team better year after year after year, I don't care if we win 9 games a year. If we go 9-8, I am satisfied with that.
Mm-hmm.
That means we went from 6-10 to 9-8. I'm fine with that. That means is more games won. We move it in a certain direction, and next year is expectations to get double-digit years.
Right.
So yeah, I don't have faith in him either, but I'm giving him a shot. Like, listen, this is your second year. It's no more degress, it's progress at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm there with you, and we're gonna talk about that. I think that's one of the last topics before we get up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this: I have tweeted it. Y'all need to go follow me on Twitter, man. I'm telling you, I be having Twitter wars, but then I try to encourage people at the same time.
Oh, your following is crazy. That's why you had Twitter wars, because your following is crazy. I wish I had the following that you had.
I actually I had posted this or tweeted this back in, I want to say it was in June, where I saw somebody on TikTok said that the Raiders were finished 3rd in the AFC. Not the AFC West, the AFC. And I said then, if the Raiders finish 3rd in the AFC, I am going to eat a cow manure sandwich live on the air.
See, can I respond to Raider Paul real quick? That it's not bandwagon. It's not bandwagon because now, number one, I'm 37 years old. I only seen 3 winning seasons in my years of being a Raiders fan. 3. That was in 2002 when we went to Super Bowl and lost. The 2016 year, and what was that? The 2021 year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. How can I have expectations out of my 37 years of life and only see 3 winning seasons? Make it make sense. It's not bandwagon. I just want I don't want to put expectations on it so where I can be like, oh, God, the Raiders let me down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Raider Paul, with all due respect, sir, this is not a bandwagon show.
It's absolutely not.
I actually have been a Raider fan since 1974. I am 52 and a half years old. I remember when the Raiders won the Super Bowl in 77. I remember when the Raiders were the first team as a wild card to go to the Super Bowl and win it and beat a very, very, very good Philadelphia Eagles team. I was living in Oakland when that happened. I remember when the Raiders abandoned the city of Oakland and went to Los Angeles and went down there and won a championship over a Redskins team that many people thought had one of the best offensive lines ever. And then I remember the Raiders going back to Oakland and how satisfying it was as a person that grew up the first part of his life in the town, that still got relatives out there, that's been back out there to visit several times. And then when we lost to the Patriots. So this is not a bandwagon show. I mean, I'm an OG with this. You can check my dental records, homie. And I reserve the right to say what I want to say about my team because I have been on the roller coaster for years.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. And John Radom hit it on the money. He said Jimmy G is a winning quarterback, true, but when he's healthy, I support him. When he can stay healthy for can he stay healthy for 18 games? That is the uncertainty that we have at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And that just tells what it is about Jimmy G. It's just the uncertainty because this man always hurt every single year. Even the year that he did go to Super Bowl and lose to the Kansas City Chiefs, he missed some games with injury. So we gotta make sure that he's 100% healthy, that foot is good to go, and that offensive line can block. Or I'm just waiting for him to get hit and get back up, and he'd be fine. That's it.
And the thing too is that we haven't seen Jimmy G get hurt from the pocket.
It's outside the pocket.
It's outside the pocket.
Exactly.
So, maybe. Just maybe, and I don't know who the quarterback coach is for us,
right?
But I know that Josh McDaniels knows him very well, so he had to be spitting game to the young G about this. Yo, man, we can't be having you doing what you did in New England when you got hurt. You tore the ACL there. We can't be having you do what you did in San Francisco when you tore the ACL again. We can't have that, dude. You didn't tore 2 ACLs. You don't have none left. You need to stay your behind in the pocket,
right?
Just saying.
And get them short intermediate routes. That would be your best bet to get them short intermediate routes. But he never had a top 10 offensive line he has now. Okay, Raider Paul, I don't know what you're seeing in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Where he had one of the best offensive lines of football last year and the year before, in the year they went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're watching, bro. I just don't know what you're watching when it comes to football. And I'm gonna be completely honest because I play offensive line, I coached it, and I've been an offensive coordinator. And I've seen like Trent Williams is one of the best offensive tackles in football.
As a matter of fact, Trent Williams has been coined as one of the best players in football, regardless of the position.
So if the Raiders want to win this year, and we're gonna go to the next time, if the Raiders want to win this year, it's not our offense that's gonna be the issue.
Let's get to it.
In that defense.
Hold on. We got to get to this though real quick.
Okay.
We got to get to this because I told you I had some questions or some statements for you. You don't know.
So on true or false, right?
True or false, baby.
True or false.
We got to get to the
It's right there, baby. It's right there.
All right. So we got to get to the true or false. I'm going to make a couple statements and D has to tell us whether it's true or whether it's false.
Oh, so you checking my gangster right now? Come on.
Here we go. Here we go with the segment. Let's go.
Oh man!
And welcome to our true or false quiz, in which I'm going to make 10 statements, and all you have to do is decide whether they're true or false.
All right, so it's not going to be 10 statements, but it's going to be 3 statements. True or false, D? And of course, everybody that's in Raider Nation, you can chime in as well. We want to hear from you.
Right.
Devontae Adams, true or false, will lead the NFL in targets.
Is this a bold prediction or is it true or false? Because I mean,
this true or false? No prediction. No prediction.
Okay.
True or false?
So Devontae Adams will lead the league in receiving.
No. Targets.
In targets.
Yeah, targets.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna say false on this because we have a guy in Minnesota named Justin Jefferson that's going to get mad targets this year. So I'm gonna have to go false with that. I mean, I would love him to get the most targets. Don't get me wrong, but it's gonna be absolutely false here.
Yeah, and we got comments. Dominique 5, Papa T, J.A. Raider, Foxy Scorpio all agree with you. False, and I actually agree with you as well. That is going to be false. All right. True, false. Number 2. Daniel Carlson again will have a minimum of 5 55 plus field goal makes. True or false?
As far as like points?
No. He's going to make at least 5 55-yard field goals because he's the king of the 55 plus yarder. He's going to have at least 5 this year. True or false?
You know what? That's gonna be true. That's Daniel. That's outside of Justin Tucker. Daniel Carlson is the best kicker in the league outside of Justin Tucker. I wouldn't put it past that he can make 555 yards. Absolutely. Agree.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
What the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
All right, D. Last one. Tyree and Max combined. Let me put it this way. I'm gonna say the number is 22.5. Over under. Oh, I'm sorry, true or false? Max and Tyree will have over that number in combined sacks.
I would say under. And just because we don't know what Chandler Jones is coming back, and Tyree Wilson is going to be a rotation player. He's not going to be a starter, with on the opposite side of Max Crosby. So I'm gonna have to go under. I would love for him to go over if he was starting, but one thing people don't realize is this: Tyree Wilson could play multiple positions on that defensive line. So if you do put him in D tackle for a certain situation, not for all 3 downs, just in situational, he could probably get you some sacks there, but I'm definitely going to say under.
And here's the thing, because it can be a little bit of a tricky question because of what you just said. Think about this from the 2007 New York Giants Super Bowl winning team when they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
But
they were the first team to really institute that NASCAR package where you have 4 DNs along the line in obvious pass situations. Okay. I think it could be closer than people think because of the way that the game is played now. There's so many more passing plays that we saw even back then. That will be the tricky part about it. So if I'm asking the question to myself, 22.5 as a combination, you got to think Max is going to get probably 15 on his own. So it's not inconceivable to see Tyree get 7.5, depending on the situation, like you said.
Yeah, depending on the situation. Especially even though Chandler Jones is having some mental issues right now, it's still an 18-game season as of right now. He could come back and be in his resurgence and, take away from Malcolm Koonce or take away from Tyree Wilson. So that combine might not. That's my only issue with it is when Chandler Jones is coming back, because when Chandler Jones come back, we might not see much of Malcolm Koonce, or we will, but we won't see him as much as now because Jones is gone. But yeah, I like the analogy. I liked how you broke that down. It made mad sense, but I'm gonna have to go under with this one.
All right, I get it. All right, let's move on, bro. Let's move on.
Yeah, absolutely. But we would definitely want to get into that defense or defensive. Now, I know you got a few things on here, knowing that Patrick Graham blowing a few double-digit leads last year, and if he repeats that, will he be out of here?
Yeah, if the defense repeats that performance from last year, that pathetic performance, and it's really a second half performance. There's 17 games in a season, right? The Raiders, by the spirit, only played in 8.5 games because they didn't show up in the second half of a lot of these games. So that's why I wanted to throw this out there and see if it had any traction, because he's got another year. He supposedly has gotten the people in that he wants, because he basically made a statement in the offseason or maybe at the end of the year saying that, I need to get my players in here that understand my scheme. That is the SBMG BS translator. Y'all some dummies, and I need to get some smarter people in here. So that's why I threw that out there. If we see, and it ain't even got to be the same amount of double-digit leads that we saw the team blow last year. If we begin to see those tendencies, is he out of here after the 2023 season?
And this is where it goes back to where I said the word stability.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to understand that Raiders fans are in a rush to such success right now. Because my problem with this defense right now is linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're kind of solidified on the defensive line. I think we still have a little bit of questions at D tackle, but linebackers is our weakest link out of this whole damn team. Offense, defense, special teams, linebacker is our weakest link. The question is, can Devon Diablo surge into one of them top linebackers? Can Luke Masterson be better than he was last year? Can Robert Spillane come in and be that veteran from Pittsburgh and be that leader downhill or in coverage? That it's all uncertainty with that defense right now. It's all uncertainty. And I feel like with Patrick Graham, I don't think he could pick his own guys.
Mm-hmm.
I really think this is a Josh McDaniel and Dave Ziegler type of draft and type of players that they want in their system. And I feel like with Patrick Graham, you got to let him do him. And I feel like if you look at Paul Gunther, terrible. If you look at Gus Bradley, he don't want to stay out of he didn't want to get out the cover 3 99% of the time. I mean, we have great depth at corner. We have great depth at the defensive line. Linebackers is really where we have struggled at. And I agree with Dominic 5. Defensive tackles got to prove themselves, like the Brian Young that we got from Alabama. We traded Neil Farrell. So Matthew Butler from Tennessee is going to have to step up. Tillery's going to have to step up. So it's going to be a lot of improvement that we have to see. So
God.
Patrick Graham.
You mentioned Tillery. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had a flashback.
Yeah, I know you had a flashback from the Rams game. I saw it all in your face. I said the word Tillery, but I mean, I think Patrick Graham, he needs to stick around because sometimes when you rotating players and your players are leaving, then you draft and you got to go out on free agency. So you're reteaching all over again. If you keep that same core that you keep on a yearly basis, then I think this defense will be fine. If you look at the top 5 defenses in the league, look how long them defenses had played together and they just added 1 or 2 additions. Why we can't do that here?
Well, and we know that Ziegler and McDaniels, they know how to build a winning culture. You know, whether he's a coordinator or whether he's the head guy. In terms of McDaniels, we know Ziegler, what he did in New England along with Bill Belichick.
I mean, he brought Matt Judon over from Baltimore. I mean, I'm just saying, and that was good acquisition.
Yeah,
at linebacker.
And I think you're actually beginning to sway me because when I asked the question, I was unequivocally no, he's got to be gone. But it's like building a 401k. You can't keep taking the money out of it and expect for it to grow just because you want to go on a vacation. Right. And I think Mark, of course, Mark Davis, I think he kind of set his mark by saying or not really saying, but making sure that we knew that Josh and Ziegler were coming back no matter what this year because of he's playing the long game. And again, shout out to Raider Paul again. When you've been seeing this, I'm getting the Jerry Jones-itis. I want to see a Super Bowl victory before I check up out of here. And when you get as close as we did in 2021, when we get as close as we did in 2016, I'm telling you, when Derek Carr broke his leg, I was at church, I started crying, bro. It was ridiculous. So thank you, Young G, for soothing this old G and bringing him back down to the clouds a little bit.
All I really want to see is a top 15 defense. If we could get out of that 20 range, that bottom 20 range, I am satisfied with a top 15 defense. I'm satisfied with that. Rank us at 15th, rank us at 14th. I do not care. That's better than being at 27th and 28th every year.
And when's the last time you said this about a Raiders defense? In that the secondary could be the best part of the defense. When did we ever? When is the last time we said that about the Raiders?
A long time.
I mean, Nate Hobbs, if he can stay healthy, Marcus Peters. I know he's
back end of his career.
He's obviously on the back end of his career. He suffered a major injury there in Baltimore. He was always susceptible to double moves because he played so aggressive. Mm-hmm. But Marcus Peters, man, that's West Oakland right there. That is a true depth. If you want to know what West Oakland is like, look at Marcus Peters because that's what that is. Trevon Morik, I'm still suspect on him. I mean, he was the best safety in the draft coming out the year, the best free safety in the draft coming out that year. He needs to take a huge step this year. He has to.
And it all starts with stability at coach. Because look how many defensive coordinators he went through since he came into the draft.
Mm-hmm. What, 4? 3?
Almost about three defensive coordinators.
Yeah. So in the chat, I want to make sure I address a couple things in the chat.
Okay.
I see some people. Let me see who it was. It was, Jay Rader says his prediction is 11-6, 10-7, worst 4-13. That's a wide spectrum.
Worst at 4-13.
That's a huge spectrum.
We won 6 games last year. I'm confused.
And really and truly, it looks like outside of, to me, the quarterback, we got better. I see what Josh McDaniels wants to do on offense with the 2 tight ends. Think about what it was with the late Aaron Hernandez and Gronk. Think about how that was in New England. You could see his mind. You can see the wheels turning in his head when you look at Meyer and you look at Hooper. Now, Hooper, of course, is on the back end, but Hooper is still very, very serviceable.
Right.
So,
and it's crazy because John Rader went right into our season outlook. You went right into it with those record predictions.
Yeah, John Rader. What did I say?
Yeah, just say John Rader. That's what I call him.
John Rader. If we ranked 19th on defense, I would be okay with it. No, that's worse than average. We can't be okay with that.
No, I would be okay with that. If you look at our defense the last 9 years, we never made it past the 25th ranked.
Well, we did get the 23rd one year, didn't we?
We 1 year, but still, like, that's not right. Above 20. Like, come on. Yeah. I want to see it in the teens, not in the 20s now. I don't want to be 21 again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I need to take baby steps. I need to take baby steps.
You're an OG in it, so I get it.
Yeah. and you know what, D, for real, and this is real talk. A big part of that is everything that what we saw from last year, especially coming off of the turmoil from 2021.
Right.
Everything that we expected last year, everybody expected for the Raiders to contend, not just for the division, but to go deep into the playoffs based on what we saw in 21. And for me, it's been too much of that over the last 25 years.
It's just been a lot of turnover as far as players in and out. We sign players for 1 year and then they're gone. We don't re-sign them. But it's a salary cap thing, and I'm happy that $30 million is coming off our books. All them people that release, we don't have to worry about them being on the books next season. So that's going to be it might be more changes that we have more players getting multi-year deals instead of being on a 1 year deal.
Yeah. And again, that speaks to the stability point that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. And we as Raider fans ain't really used to that. Let's just be honest. We ain't really used to that.
Not.
And the fact that we're not used to it, D, maybe the uproar in terms of our short patience and our short fuse when it comes to McDaniels. And when it comes to Patrick, and when it comes to Mark and Ziegler and all these, everybody else up there that's in charge, that may be part of the reason why our fuse is so short, is because they may be building that culture in which I'm not gonna say it's like the New England or Patriot way, but if it mirrors it just a little bit, and we can get 2 or 3 Super Bowl trophies after they got 6 or 7, when I get to heaven, I'm shaking every Raider fan hand up there. I'm going up to John Matusak and Rob Martin and Kenny King and everybody else. I'm gonna give them the biggest hug. Yo, man, y'all see what's going on? That's what I'm talking about right there.
So Raider Kojo said we got better at quarterback because the offense will flow like water in the red zone. We will score 7 and not 3 more offense. So John Raider said the most important thing that we need to prove on is turnovers on defense and stopping the run. You do that, and we'll be great into this season. That right there. If we don't get turnovers on the defense side of the ball, like I'm telling you, we better at least get a fumble, some interceptions. Because we dropped mad interceptions in preseason. Mad interceptions.
There was that one against who was it, against Dallas? They got taken to the house.
Even against the Rams, we dropped a few. So we gotta play better in that situation. So season outlook, number of wins. Ja already said it. He already said it. But what about you? What are your number of wins going into this season? Because I did an unofficial, and then I didn't actually do an official one yet. I did an unofficial once the schedule came out.
I'm gonna say 7 and 10 at that's the ceiling. That's the ceiling. And it's not because I'm a Raider fan that's hating on the Raiders. I just don't know about Jimmy Garoppolo and his ability to stay on the field. We've seen it when he's on the field, when he's got the playmakers around him, what he can do. And this team has playmakers around him. But my biggest concern is whether or not he can stay on the field. If anybody knows me, when I talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, it ain't about whether he can play or not. It's about when can he play.
Right. For me, my ceiling is going to be 9 and 8. I think it's going to be 9 and 8. If you look at the schedule, it's a pretty tough schedule, that first 4-week stretch. But I think we'll definitely beat. For me, I feel like we'll beat Denver. Buffalo is going to be at Buffalo, but it's not going to be in the cold. That's the good part. It's still going to be warm outside, so that's the good thing that we got Buffalo in week 2 and not in week 16 where it's cold. So, I like Pittsburgh still is at home opener on a I think it's on a Sunday night. That's going to be very interesting to watch. Robert Spillane going up against his former team, So I like that. If our defense look good, the Chargers, Packers, New England, Bears, Lions. Lions gonna be a good game. Giants gonna be a good game. Waller coming back, from being a Raider.
Play. He's already questionable for week 1. He's already questionable for week 1.
I've been saying this about Waller. Giants fans, are you happy now? Because you're getting the same thing that he did with us. Baby and a hamstring. Baby and a hamstring. Then we got the Jets, Dolphins. Supposed to be going to that Dolphins game too in Miami, so keep a lookout for that. I'm supposed to be going to that game.
That's gonna be dope.
Kansas City, Minnesota, Chargers, Kansas City, Indianapolis, Denver. I think we could win 9 games. I really think so. We might not win as many. We probably not win as many in the division, but if we look at our outside division games, outside of our conference, I think we could beat Minnesota. I think we could beat
Chicago.
If Chicago has an offensive line and they can protect Justin Fields, then that's a different story. But they do have some receiving cores that will give us some competition. Detroit is going to be a game that we could possibly win, depending on how they play around that time. Because Detroit, they start all slow and then they end really good, or they start high and end really bad. It's really up and down for Detroit. But Detroit, enjoy your win, because right now you're the best team in the league with 1-0. Everybody else still 0-0. So enjoy it while you have it.
Except for Kansas City, there's 0-1. And this just in, the Raiders are in first place in the AFC West right now.
Sure is.
Real quick before we get up out of here, you talked about the Buffalo Bills. I got a hot take. The Buffalo Bills are frauds.
They've been frauds.
They're going to be. They're felonious frauds this year. Okay.
Willie, they've been fraud since they lost 4 Super Bowl championships. They've been fraud since then.
But here is the stronger point that I'm making.
Okay.
That team is not going to the playoffs this year.
Oh,
Mark it down. Mark it down.
Y'all see, I have the date on this podcast, right? Okay, just want to make sure. Yep.
Mark it down. The Bills are not going to the playoffs. That's all I got.
Oh man. So speaking of playoffs, I did say 9-8 as our ceiling, but if we do, I'll say what? I'll say 8 and 9. Just reverse it. That would be my, floor for them. So 8 and 9. I still think that's a progression compared to 6 and 10. But hey,
yeah,
that's my expectations. But playoffs or no.
Unless everybody else goes 6 and 11, no. And we know that ain't happening.
I mean, we are in a tough conference in the AFC where a lot of teams have upgraded their teams, especially the Jets. The Chargers, of course, the chokers. I don't know why. Even think they're going to make it to the playoffs after that 27-0 blowout that they gave up last year to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But
and the Jaguars are real too.
Yeah, the Jaguars are for real. I'm not afraid of the Indianapolis Colts, but the AFC is a stronger conference. So I think we'll beat our NFC teams like Giants, Minnesota. Only one we probably will lose to is Detroit. But I say we'll beat the Packers. I think we'll beat the Vikings, and I think we'll beat the Bears.
There you have it.
There you have it, man. So yeah. Any final thoughts before we head out of here? Because it's been a fun show, man. It seems like we came back like we never left.
and real talk, that's how you know it's real. That's exactly how you know it's real. I feel like we just did this yesterday,
right?
And the commitment part of the commitment to excellence is me committing to you, and you committing to me that we're gonna ride this thing until the wheels go bald and they fall off. And we do this every Friday, guys, 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Nothing but Raider talk. We'll mix some other things in there as well. There may be even some guests that we can bring on from other teams that we can have a debate with and a shouting match and all that. So
y'all want to see them arguments. I know y'all want to see that entertainment there.
Yeah, and I got them. I got them on my team. So it's gonna be real. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna respect each other. And that's just what it's going to be. We're going to be excellent.
Queen Raiderette, I know you coming in a little late because I know this podcast is only an hour. I get it. Y'all know Nothing But Raiders podcast is like a 2-hour segment, but got to get you over there and, come on for like at least an hour because I know you be busy with your, with your media group and everything. Got to get you on there on Tuesday nights. We do that at 8:30, is like 8:15-ish at the most. I mean, if you are available. So
we can make something happen.
Yeah, we definitely can make something happen. I wish I could have hit you up too, man, because we have a whole Nothing But Raiders podcast fantasy football league, man. See, you could have been a part of the fantasy league, bro.
Oh man, I'm retired from fantasy, man.
Oh, come on. You could have been in for one year for me, though.
I would have had to pull the Michael Jordan 99.99999% and then come back. Yeah.
That is hilarious, man. But it's gonna be a fun league. Shout out to Protect the Shield podcast. Shout out to Cheeto Line as my 2 co-hosts. Shout out to Myra G for being there. SC Experience, another YouTuber. Shout out to all the content creators and Daniel Ray. He's a big Raiders fan, but he does the fantasy to a point where he got it old school with the board in the back. He has the board where you actually write the name and you put that right there on your team. That's how he got it. But that's basically it. Final score. What's your final score for week 1?
I got us beating Denver 24-16.
I got a different score.
You got the same result though, right?
We had Raiders winning.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Raiders winning, but I think we putting up at least 27. I say no, 27 to 29, probably damn near 30. on Denver. I believe in our offense.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, but I'm gonna say 27-17.
And we'll be in first place for real.
Yep, 27-17 Raiders. We're gonna be up on the donkeys. We've been sweeping them guys for the last 2 to 3 years. They don't want no smoke, and Russell Wilson need to get out, get his whatever out his behind, and Sean Payton just need to shut up and play football.
That's right. No, coach football.
Yeah, play, coach, analyze, do something.
Not on Madden either.
Not on Madden at that. Because Russ ain't been cooking. Russ been burning.
Yeah. Well,
he been burnt.
Yeah, he don't even know how to grocery shop anymore. So that's what that is.
Facts.
All right, man.
But thank y'all so much for tuning into the Commitment to Excellence podcast every Friday, 8:30 Eastern time. My time, 7:30. What, Pacific time?
Central. I'm in Dallas.
Central, because you're in Dallas.
Yeah, I'm in Dallas.
I know you deal with them Cowboys fans. I don't know how you do it. But
let's bring them on one week.
Oh yeah,
I got plenty of them.
Oh yeah, bring them on.
Yeah,
bring them on. I put the smoke. I want the smoke with them. But make sure y'all follow us on social media at Nothing But Raider Podcast. One, you see it at the bottom here, and at Instagram, ShakeBack Media Group. Same thing on Twitter as well. Twitter be blowing up, so make sure y'all go follow him on there, Raider Nation. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate it, and I will be having a premiere tomorrow with Broncos Avenue to do a Broncos and Raiders preview. So that would be around 1 o'clock. That will premiere while I'm doing Colorado and Nebraska on my other channel, which is the Darion Hopkins Sports Show. So make sure y'all, if y'all want to come through to that as well, y'all definitely can do that. But we're out of here, y'all. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure y'all subscribe to my guy, man. Stop playing. If you don't subscribe, then it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to shank you, for real.
Yeah, y'all gonna mess around and turn me back into the old me. You don't want to do that.
Enough said, man. We out of here. Peace, love, and blessings, and have a great Friday night. We out.
We out.